Let's jump right in. Today, we're unpacking a truly profound piece of source material called The Initiation of the Five Senses and the Breath of the Universe. Now, this explainer covers a transformative journey to India, but what's fascinating is that it wasn't sparked by an invitation or a planned itinerary or even by words at all. Instead, the author was drawn there by a vibration, this mysterious humming just beneath our everyday consciousness. So, as we walk through this text today, we're going to explore a journey that completely shifts how we perceive reality and honestly, how we view our own internal landscapes. Okay, let's dive into this. Picture the setting for a second. It's a small room in India. The windows are thrown open, warm air is pouring in, and there's that rich, unmistakable scent of sandalwood drifting through the space, kind of like an old memory. The author is sitting across from a teacher, a guide who, by the way, doesn't care about boasting titles or claiming lineages. He just looks right at the author and drops this incredible bombshell. He says, "Look, we all know we have five physical senses, right? But we actually have five inner ones too. And here's the kicker. Until you learn to connect to them, you will only live half a life." Just an absolutely incredible statement that immediately forces you to reevaluate how you're actually experiencing your day-to-day reality. So, moving into our first major concept here, awakening the inner senses and this deeply personal exploration of the five inner doors. The initiation actually kicks off with a deceptively simple command. The teacher tells the author to close their eyes and asks, "What do you see?" Naturally, the author says darkness. And, I encourage you to mentally close your eyes with us for a second here. When you shut your eyes, that initial physical blackout is exactly what we all expect, right? But the teacher pushes back. He says, "Look again." He's literally demanding that the author look right past that initial wall of physical darkness to see what is actually there. And when the author looked again, that darkness started to shift. It turns out it wasn't empty at all. It transformed into a living canvas of subtle movements and impressions, rising up from the soul rather than the outside world. You see, physical sight kind of blinds us with the sheer forms of the world, but inner sight, that reveals the underlying truth. The source material actually calls this the beginning of dragon sight, which is just a beautifully evocative term for perceiving the energetic truth of a situation rather than just staring at its physical shell. Moving along to the second inner door, the teacher commands, "Now listen." And once again, he asks a super simple question, "What do you hear?" So the author sits there, right, just waiting for those normal everyday sounds to register. Maybe a bird singing outside, a car driving by, a voice in the distance. But the teacher just shakes his head. He says, "No, listen beneath sound." It's such a wild, fascinating instruction. He's asking the author to completely tune out the auditory inputs of the physical environment and dial into an entirely different frequency. Because physical hearing is really just processing external noise. But inner hearing? That is tuning into the very hum of existence. The author describes finally hearing a vibration living just beneath the silence, a resonance that actually exists inside every single living thing. And the teacher explains so beautifully that this is the universe speaking. It's speaking in every single moment, but honestly, most of us are so incredibly distracted by physical noise that we just never hear it. Next up, we hit the third door. Here, the teacher holds his hand near the author's arm, but crucially, without actually touching it. And he asks, "What do you feel?" The author, obviously still relying a bit on those physical senses, replies, "Heat," which makes total sense, right? It's radiating body heat. But once again, the teacher redirects, "No, feel deeper." He is intentionally pushing the student way past that obvious biological feedback, forcing them into a much, much more subtle layer of awareness. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference. While physical touch obviously relies on physical contact, inner touch is all about energetic connection. When the author finally felt deeper, they suddenly became aware of this subtle field between them, literally an energetic bridge connecting their beings. The crucial takeaway here is that true connection isn't physical at all. It is entirely energetic. In fact, the source text emphasizes that mastering this specific inner sense becomes the absolute anchor for understanding our relationships, how we heal, and even how we balance our polarity with other people. All right, now we reach the fourth door, and honestly, this one is wonderfully unexpected. The teacher literally hands the author absolutely nothing, just empty air, and then he asks, "What do you taste?" The author admits they almost burst out laughing. I mean, it sounds like a trick question, but instead of laughing, they just sat with it. They searched internally to figure out what it actually means to taste when there is literally zero physical food or drink present. See, physical taste is all about the food and drink we consume. But inner taste, that is about authenticity and the soul. And the author discovered this profound internal flavor made up of memory, emotion, and deep internal truth. The teacher tells him, your soul has flavor. And when you taste it, you know who you are. Tuning into this inner taste is the ultimate key to living an authentic life. It is literally the flavor of your own undeniable truth. So, for the fifth and final inner door, the teacher instructs the author to simply breathe deeply and asks, what do you smell? Now, at this point in the initiation, the author knows better than to go sniffing around for the physical scent of the sandalwood in the room or the warm air outside. Instead, they take a really deep breath, searching for something that, at first glance, seems entirely impossible to find without a physical source. While physical smell processes external odors, inner smell is the scent of presence. The authors suddenly smelled the fragrance of their own inner world, the literal aroma of consciousness itself. The teacher explains that this is the scent of your very being, and that when you can finally smell it, it feels exactly like arriving home. It grounds you so deeply in your own existence, creating this unshakable foundation of self-awareness. Now we're going to pivot hard from that ethereal inner world to our second major concept, the balance of the idiot and maintaining cosmic balance. Now, what's really interesting about this concept is the word itself. At the end of the initiation, the teacher tells the author, you must become an idiota. Now, we immediately think of that as an insult, right? But the Latin root actually translates to having your feet squarely on the ground while your head is in heaven. The teacher touches the floor, and then he touches the air. He explains that this is the ultimate ledger of cosmic balance. Because look, you can't just float around living in the clouds with your inner senses, and you definitely can't just trudge through the dirt, relying only on your physical ones. True mastery is being firmly grounded in the human experience while remaining completely elevated in cosmic awareness. And finally, we zoom way out to the macro reality of the cosmos with our third and final concept, the universal breath and breathing with the Tao. The same breath the universe takes is the same breath you take. Just let that sink in. The teacher guides the author to inhale and actually feel the cosmos inhaling with them, then to exhale and feel the cosmos exhaling right through them. This brilliantly illustrates that true awareness isn't just some temporary state you only manage to reach while meditating in a perfectly quiet room. No, it is a continuous presence. Whether you are waking, dreaming, suffering, celebrating, or even dying, the breath of the universe is flowing through you. You are fundamentally completely intertwined with the Tao. So, to quickly recap this incredible framework, which the text refers to as Zoran's Whisper, step 1 is opening those 5 inner doors, acquiring that dragon sight to perceive truth, hearing the hum of existence, feeling that energetic connection, tasting your own authenticity, and smelling the essence of your home. Step 2 is embodying the Idota, maintaining that perfect, delicate balance between the physical earth and cosmic heaven. And step 3 is breathing with the Tao, merging your own breath with the universal breath and realizing that the universe breathes through you, just as you breathe through it. I want to leave you with a deeply provocative question today. Based on everything we've unpacked in this explainer, are you living a full life or a half-life? Are you relying purely on those physical senses that kind of blind you with form and noise? Or are you ready to finally open those 5 inner doors and actually taste your own truth? I really challenge you to take just a moment today. Close your eyes, look past the initial darkness, and see if you can tune into that hum of existence. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll catch you next time.